That's right, Tony. This is definitely not a new conversation, but with recent removal of Confederate monuments, a question has been raised. Are we acknowledging their problematic past, or are we erasing history? With all these rules, you might be wondering what's appropriate. What can you wear? Like, can you wear this? Or these? If you feel like you shouldn't, Fredonia professors have advice for you. The various members of the police force are getting a little bit safer with new bulletproof and stab-proof vests. This summer is becoming one to remember for the Queen City, and not for a good reason. Police say there have been 20 homicides since June 1st alone. A professor at NC State says juvenile justice facilities need green spaces too. Ann Spafford is helping to design therapeutic gardens for state-run youth detention facilities. We're learning new information tonight about the main suspect in the attack on 2 New Zealand mosques. Authorities describe the 28-year-old Australian as a right-wing extremist terrorist. He's accused of killing 49 people during Friday prayers in the city of Christchurch. Last August, protesters knocked Silent Sam from his pedestal on the UNC campus. Today, newly planted grass stands where the Confederate monument once stood. But the empty space does not end the conversation about the future and meaning of these and other monuments. Frank Powell is a spokesman for the state division of the Sons of Confederate Veterans.
It really has nothing to do with hate. In fact, it's just the opposite. It has love for our ancestors.
Police arrested Ashley Papio for disrupting the 2018 meeting where officials decided to keep 3 Confederate monuments at the state capitol.
It's about racism. It's not about history.
UNC professor Fitz Brundage says history lends some context.
By that, it's very difficult to make a logical argument that separates the Confederacy from slavery. The Civil War was waged in a manner to protect the institution of slavery.
Supporters of these monuments say they were built to celebrate Confederate soldiers, but they weren't erected until almost 50 years after the end of the war. Professor Brundage says this late celebration is not by coincidence.
And they were certainly all tied up in the late 19th, early 20th century consolidation of power by white Democratic Party elites who wanted to lay claim to a natural sort of right to rule.
In February, Democratic state lawmakers sought to change the laws that protected these monuments. As a compromise, lawmakers suggested building statues of African-American heroes and changing inscriptions on existing statues to provide more context.
I don't think there's any room for compromise at this point. I've not seen any. We just try to educate people about history and the true meaning of our symbols and of our heritage and our culture.
If they want to put up plaques that quote-unquote contextualize the horrible statues that currently stand, I mean, again, anything is better than nothing, but what really has to happen is they've got to come down.
Now, Professor Brundage says the conversation should not end at Confederate monuments. It should also include segregated memorials and the African-American heroes left off of them. Tony? Neil Dobbins has made it his mission to protect Buffalo.
I buried his son, Neil Dobbins Jr., was killed back in 2003. So I know the pain of that family.
And out of his heartache came MVP.
M stands for Mothers and Men, minus the V, which is violence, equals the P, which is peace.
It also stands for Most Valuable Parent. The new group met Thursday with Snug and Peacemakers. Their agenda included ways to positively reach the community and come up with an action plan that they say will be long-term.
Understand that our success, our longevity, and our perpetuity is rooted in our unity. That's right. Is that right?
The organization wants to connect with 1,000 parents who will reach not only their own kids, but other at-risk youth.
We feel that it's our responsibility as parents to stand up.
For now, though, Dobbins has one message to Buffalo residents.
Just want to ask them to put the guns down. Just put the guns down and do everything in our power to have a safe summer.
If you want to get involved, MVP meets Thursday nights at 6.
This is a high-energy group, is that right?
In Buffalo, Monica Manney, Spectrum News. Man's best friend also getting the best protection as the four-legged members in uniform protect and serve alongside their partners.
Obviously, the dog goes into a lot of dangerous situations, and the dog will go in first, so he's the one that really does need the protection.
The furriest members of the police force are getting a little bit safer with new bulletproof and stab-proof vests.
We want the dogs to have the best advantage to survive whatever encounter they may run into.
Sheriff's deputies say the equipment is necessary for the courageous dogs, but the price tag.
Close to $1,000 per vest.
That's why the nonprofit organization Vested Interest in Canines collects donations for vests, giving out more than 3,000 to our furriest officers. The 6 vests for Erie County were sponsored by the Staten Island Companion Dog Training Club.
It's quite an expense, and luckily these people donated them, so we're very excited about it.
The Canine Unit honors benefactors by inscribing their name on the front of the vests. If you're interested in donating, you can visit their website at vik9s.org. In Buffalo, Monica Manney, Spectrum News.